Hello, welcome to Get Go today. We are live on YouTube.
Afternoon, everybody. We are live on the YouTubes. I'm actually going to check because I've got my laptop right here.
And it's been a bit of a journey to get here, but we think we're actually streaming and we've got it nailed
This week. Hello,
Hopefully.
Bernie. Hello, Jamie.
Hey, Penny, how are you, Bernster?
Very well. Nice to see you, Bernster. And we've got
too.
some cool guests coming on today. Of course, we've got the lovely Damien,
Yeah,
who
he's
you
there.
may have met before
Damo.
because Damo was on our first show.
You can talk.
Hey, Damo.
Hey, how are you?
Very, very
How's
well.
everybody?
Very well, thank you, lovely.
We're good.
We're talking to you in Japan. What time is it in Japan at the moment?
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Lovely. Very nice time of day. Have you had your
Alright.
coffee?
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, so
Good man.
Oh, right.
Green tea.
Tea. Okay.
Yes.
Tea. We got the green tea here as well.
We do.
sounds good.
So we're going to chat to Damo in a minute because
Yep.
you've been up watching the Super Bowl last night, correct?
Yeah, well, it's it'll be yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to.
I had to, our kid producer, Jed, I had to record it for him
Hilarious.
because was Peyton, what's his name? Peyton
Manning?
Peyton Manning.
Manning.
Peyton Manning was playing, and that
I
was
knew that, yeah.
hugely
His-
important
his star,
because it's
right?
Peyton Manning, Dad.
Of course. What
Come
a
on,
name.
Dad.
Peyton
Come on,
Manning.
Dad.
It's so
I know,
like
I know.
21st
Hi, I'm
century.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah. I'm a star.
And I'm a star.
Yeah, I'm a star. We're going to talk a few other issues which we'd really love you guys to comment on today. CSIRO,
Yep.
cut funding for
Yep.
the Climate Change Monitoring Department, which is just like completely...
not great.
And they invented Wi-Fi
that we're using to do all this on,
Exactly.
and then I saw something on the Facebook book of the face where they're giving money for grants for startups. So they're cutting stuff that actually is established. We've got people doing their doctorates on, PhD students doing, and they just kind of cut it.
So forget
Okay.
doing something for the greater good of man,
Yeah.
and let's talk about like consumerism, how to make the most out of
Yeah.
like raping and pillaging.
Well,
Sorry, I get
listen,
really passionate about
I
this.
think because I mean with the end of the mining boom and everything like that, we actually need to, because the only thing we've got left is this. And,
Yeah,
and,
agreed.
and Australians, we all say that we're the smartest people in the world and all that sort of stuff.
Well, it's the fact that you have to say that always makes
Yeah, I
me
know.
feel a little
I
bit
know.
concerned.
It's not the greatest, but we do need to start investing in startups because they just leave otherwise.
I agree, but we need to invest in startups that actually have a consciousness, like a humanitarian
Yeah.
consciousness about how
Yeah.
we're connected now. So,
Yeah.
what can we do for each other as humans on the planet and
Yep.
the earth instead
Yep.
of just how
Yep.
much profit can we make?
Well, that's the irony about most startups. They feel a need that's there. Like look at with PayPal and everything, there was a need obviously for another way to go outside of the banking system.
Yeah.
And that, to go outside of the banking system is not a bad thing.
Oh, I agree
Because
completely.
And
they've just got us
Elon
like
Musk
that.
himself has gone into solar power and,
He has.
and to storage, which actually is a big thing right now. He's got
Yes.
his batteries.
And he's smart.
Yeah.
All his
Yeah,
patents,
totally.
all his patents are out there
Yeah.
for everybody to use. Because once everybody uses them, then of course it's going to sell more, and it's going to work, and there's going to be more cars, and the model of the next car I'm getting is a Tesla for sure. I don't have 180 grand
Yeah,
for
I
a
know, it's
Tesla,
super expensive,
but
right?
the Series 3 is 38,000
Wow.
US.
And it's a
brings it-
hot looking car. We should get a
Yeah.
picture of
Yeah,
that
it'd
up
be
there
great.
actually. I'll go and find the
Yeah.
car.
Okay.
Because
And
it's
in the-
awesome, but you know.
And in the meantime, we're sort of live streaming Facebook too, so we'd
and
love you
we're
guys.
ignoring Damo.
Sorry, Damo. We
So
will
that-
be back to you in a second, but we want to make sure you guys have your say. So if there's anything you want to talk about,
Yes.
CSIRO,
Yes.
cutting funding to climate
Yes.
monitoring, you want to say something about how fab Damo is or anything
Yep.
else, just, make sure Get Go today.
We've got the Facebook up, so put your comments on, we'll read them, and be part of it. Because
Absolutely.
this is all about us talking about shit, basically.
Yeah, your shit,
Okay.
stuff
Yeah,
you want to
okay.
talk about.
Well, yeah,
What do you want to
yeah.
talk about, Damo?
Well, going back to your thought about the CSIRO and the downgradings, would any of you think that it would have anything to do with the TPP?
Oh.
TPP. Wow, people are talking about that, the
Yeah.
Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Partnership,
and all
yes.
that,
Yeah, I'd love to know your viewpoint, and as an Aussie in Japan, what's your perspective on it?
Well, the TPP affects us here in a few good and bad ways, but the whole gist of the TPP is to allow, from what I gather, is to allow companies to sue and use their patents in other countries without having any control or interference from the government.
Uh-huh.
So by cutting the CSIRO, they can't say, hey, we've got something better, we've got something, make things cheaper. No, it underlines the TPP, and it would be a bad thing if that is to happen.
So you know what bothers me with this? I mean, for example, could a cigarette company... Now, you know how we've got in Australia packaging where you have, we have packaging that shows the damages of cigarettes and quite graphic photographs and stuff. Could a cigarette company sue now to say that has stopped their profits? Do you know what I mean? Like, does it?
Yes.
Is it? Are you serious?
Yes, they not just sue; they will sue the government.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But I think what the government's kind of like, you can't do something. If there's common law, if there's something that doesn't make sense, then no judge is ever going to rule in favour
Right.
of the. But then again, you never know.
But you never know, and it
But you never
could
know.
actually happen. That's the terrifying thing.
That there is
But the thing is, it won't go to Australian courts, won't go to the US courts, it'll go to the international courts.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
international
right.
will go, look, you've got an international contract, you cannot,
yeah.
destroy the international
Mind
contract.
you, mind you, we break international law all the time.
Yeah, well, I
with
don't
that,
think every country breaks international law.
We're a signatory
Well,
to the refugee
exactly,
things and stuff like that. We
totally.
don't follow that.
No, we don't at all.
Huh?
We don't at all.
Yeah.
No.
And never has a governor, the current government never has it even honoured anything that it said.
No, absolutely
No.
true.
So,
Wow,
you know.
how fascinating. Hey, can we just talk about something a little bit light now, just to kind of
Yeah.
break it up?
Yeah.
Super Bowl, we said that, you mentioned you watched it. What was the
Yes.
best part of the game? Because it was a bit of an average game from what we hear.
Lady Gaga singing the national anthem.
Yes,
No
yes,
way.
Lady Gaga. I knew it. Lady Gaga was this. Sorry, back to you, Damo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
what did she do that so captured your imagination, Damo?
It wasn't what she did.
What she done do? I've met her in the green room and her management. It's a bit la la, but yeah, keep going.
It was like, at least, like, she sung the song, she didn't stuff it up, which was good because they, a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
pretty
people
much it. She sung it in tune.
She sang it too.
She sung it in tune, and it was the greatest thing. Like, she sang it in tune. That's all she did. That's it.
But if you compare that to the game, that was the highlight of the.
Yeah.
I'll maybe get the 4 hours back again.
So why was the game so flat, do you reckon?
I think because the commissioner, the last couple of years, the commissioner and the NFL have changed the rules. That's made
rule
it a bit.
changing.
I can't have any
We're all
big
changing.
hits. You can't have this.
Right.
You can't have that. So it's
Yeah.
like it's just dulled
Yeah.
the game down.
Yep.
Also,
Save people's
the
lives.
game was two teams that were more defensive than offensive,
Okay.
Yes, it was. I will attest to that.
and
Yes.
most of the scores were done by the defensive teams, not the offensive teams, the one that should be scoring.
Yes.
Yeah, and the team that won was the one with the best defence.
Okay, so all in all, a very
Yeah.
lacklustre kind
Yeah,
of,
pretty much.
for punters.
Do you know?
No
Do you know
attack
what was?
button.
Do you know what was the particular highlight for me, Damo? Was when
What was that?
they had all 50, the players, the man of the match or whatever they call them, all 50 of them
Yeah.
come out. They started from Super Bowl number 1. Here is Joe Bloggs, and then they went. And I went, they're not going to do all 50, right?
They
And
do.
they did all 50.
Oh, well, right.
And we just sit there going, no.
That's
And we thought the
patriotism,
NRL was boring.
right?
You got to fill 4 hours.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yep, but we need a 60-second silence for every one of them that's fallen,
Yeah.
as we did back in
Yeah,
the days
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Gulf War. Yes.
But the half-time show was a bit of a letdown.
I didn't get to halftime.
Tell us what was going on and why it was a letdown.
Oh, you think 50 years of football, you think that they'd have something a bit more spectacular. But you had Coldplay singing a song, you had Beyonce. You go, yeah, hello, Beyonce.
Yeah,
Nice to
Beyonce.
meet you.
Yeah, no, we've played with all of those. Sorry, I've played with all of those little characters there. So it was.
So why Beyonce usually has such a big, spectacular show kicking didn't happen?
No, because you got to think, you got to go by. There's three people. They had Bruno Mars, Coldplay, and Beyonce, and they all had their 15 seconds of 15 minutes of singing, and then they get together and sing one song, which was actually a medley.
Oh yeah.
Medley,
I heard about it, yeah.
melody. Well, they get that right too. Sorry, back to singing.
And it's just like, yeah, okay, thank you, next.
And they did this montage apparently of over
Yeah.
Coldplay's "Fix You." You know that ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding, that really big lilting,
Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Exactly my point. You're just going, yeah, okay, let's move it on. Move
Wow.
That didn't work.
Wow, what a letdown. Letdown
Oh.
for such a big
Yeah.
show, you know.
Yeah,
Mega letdown.
it's all right.
How's sushi? How's the sushi
Oh,
in
yeah, how
Japan
is the
today?
sushi?
I want to know if you ever get paranoid about the sushi you're eating after the nuclear reactor went off.
Oh, that's,
Like, I think about that.
That's the three-headed eyed catfish.
Yeah.
Do you ever get paranoid?
That's like saying like you've got you know, if you had an earthquake somewhere and it affects you in the other end of the island, it doesn't affect us in any way.
No,
because
it wasn't an
they-
earthquake, and wouldn't it affect the toxicity of the water and stuff that would float down with the currents, and you know what I
Well,
mean?
we're told that it is affecting stuff. I don't know whether it is. 'Cause
Sorry,
you
don't
can't-
want
you can't
to
see,
make
like-
you paranoid over there or anything.
Look, you know, no one's paranoid here. Everything's still.
It's like back in Australia.
Everything's fine. Yeah, I'm not paranoid. Everything's fine. Just the government, you know.
Yeah, everything's fine. The thing is, like, when that happened and the government sort of like was a bit behind everything else that was happening because they were being told by, you know, the business that owned the plant that, oh no, everything's okay. So they're saying to the people, we're being told that everything's okay, so it must be okay.
Yeah.
And when they found out that everything wasn't okay, and then everyone just starts going, okay, now.
Now we better acknowledge.
Not okay. But you know what? The Prime Minister at the time, who resigned not long
He
after
did,
that,
yeah,
That's right.
he was the one who ordered TPC, what was it, Japan, whatever it is, the power company,
Yeah.
he ordered them to pour seawater into the reactors.
Oh, really?
Right, had been 1 hour later,
Yeah.
the whole thing would have blown, be way worse than
Yeah,
Chernobyl,
right.
And so
But-
that destroyed the reactors.
Here's some other information
Yeah.
that the government sent in, like their scientists to check the place out and said, you must build a seawall between you and the sea. You
Yeah.
must. And the company went, no, it's too expensive. We can't afford that. No. And they said, no, you must.
Yeah, right.
If they had built a seawall, none of this would have happened.
No, it
Oh
would have
my
happened.
God.
No,
Well, see, that's the thing.
wow,
Somebody, I had this discussion with my 17-year-old stepson about power and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm starting engineering degree at UNSW in a couple of weeks because I actually want to do my bit
Good on you.
for the world, right?
Yeah, I'll get
and,
that.
And,
You know,
I've got the same ideas as everybody else, you know, generating solar panel, then using it for maybe to store the power in gravity. You put something up high, you let it, and it sort of go down slowly, it drives a generator, and there's no batteries, no anything.
They've also got airbags underneath the ocean now that sit down and they blow
ocean
them
power,
up and they blow them
tides.
up.
There's,
Yeah.
there's all this power available to us, and talking about nuclear energy, and he said, "But nuclear energy is great." And I said, "Well, it is, but we can't afford any more mistakes in the world.
exactly
We've
right.
had two. We can't
Yeah.
have a third."
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
And you know
it
what?
will happen.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh yeah, but it was just because of the Russians, and it was just because of the other." I'm like, well, yeah, well, it doesn't matter why.
Exactly, and
It
nature
matters that
has
it
its own
happened.
force.
Yeah, and
you know,
it'll
you're
happen
actually
again.
harnessing
So we
nuclear
actually can't
energy.
do it.
You know, the sacking of the CSIRO scientists,
Yes.
we're heading for another huge mistake.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. We totally are, Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the whole government thing, like we obviously need tax reform.
Yeah, totally.
And we
Have done for
we
a
need
long
a whole
time.
bunch of reform and they need to reform their spending and reassess where they're spending money and everything like that. But I don't think the CSIRO and that area is the most sensible place to be cutting
No.
spending.
No, that's a national treasure. That's been
Absolutely.
called. 600 scientists actually
Yeah.
signed a petition globally last
Yeah, right.
night and sent it to our government to say, don't do this. The CSIRO is highly respected around the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's our national treasure. It's probably the greatest treasure we have, and here we are just
Well,
like,
the bottom, forget about the treasure, forget about getting all emotional.